Hi everyone, let's talk about Knights of Fire, which again is on Kickstarter right now, and you can click the link in the description to go to the campaign page and see all of the good stuff on there, and watch the playthrough to see if you would like to back it yourself. So yeah, I've played this and its predecessor, Days of Ire, which, so straight away, it tells a story, and I really like when this happens in board games. It tells a story from something that really happened, the kind of the revolution that happened in Hungary, where they basically managed to drive the Soviets out of the country, and then aggravated them enough to make them come back and show them who's boss. Essentially, it's a thing I had never heard of in the slightest, and yeah, the game existing, seeing the Rado run through, and then playing the game for myself, it's told me about a thing. It made me go and look it up, albeit just the Wikipedia page, but it made me go and look up the details of this really fascinating thing that happened, and the tragic results of it. But yeah, this really important thing in the history of Budapest and, well, Hungary. But yeah, this thing that I had no clue about whatsoever, and I really like when games kind of introduce you to that, and wrapping it up in a very interesting, very good game. Besides that, but having this kind of anchor in something really interesting that happened anyway really elevates the game. So this is much more of a kind of, it's not really, I've not played a war game, so I'm not going to really differentiate between what makes one and what isn't. This is definitely more of that. It's more of a, tactical thing, and moving your people around and trying to, evade the forces or take out the forces. It does a really good job of simulating, again, it's related to the actual thing that happened. What the subsequent invasion was like, because the first game is all about that revolution where they managed to get the Soviets out of the country and kind of make them question was it worth all of this discord and stuff. Again, I've not. It's been a while since I read that page now, so I won't try and spout history at you. But yeah, that's the first game's story, and it's a really good game in itself as well. I'll hopefully do a video for Days of Ire one day. But this is the story of part 2, where they come back, and it's a big battle, and it really simulates that kind of. They are really just they know that they don't really have a chance against this enemy, against this invading force. They are way more well equipped. They can just keep deploying these garrisons, and whatever they do to disable the units, they just keep coming back again and again and again. And they close in on you in the game as well. It really does feel like in the beginning of the game, it feels like you're getting something done. You can rescue all of these civilians, and it feels like, well, we're doing all of this. What's the problem? You can try and spend all of your points getting the civilians out. You can maybe disable the couple of units that are out there. But even if you get off to a good start and you can kind of get this foothold of, okay, we've managed to fend these off, we've got these civilians out, we've got these barricades built, it feels like we're getting somewhere. Inevitably, the way, if you keep doing good things and your units don't get killed in their attacks, the readiness will just keep going up, and the cards will keep driving it up, which makes it more likely that your units are going to get killed. When the cards come out that do damage to the insurgents, the damage is usually boosted based on the readiness level. No more units come out of the Soviets, and they tend to converge in one place. But when they manage to do an attack, it is usually it's just a slaughter. They will come in and just start radically reducing your numbers. And even if you think you get a bit of a reprieve and one of the cards, they couldn't actually do anything, all they got to do was move. If they do that, some insurgents will, just run away. They will go back to the box. You don't suffer morale losses for that, but, you will, the will of your the will of the fight and the people that you have on your side will eventually be broken. And so that's another way that your force is just radically reduced. In the beginning, you've got a lot on the board. You've got all of these in the reinforcements area that you can bring in from the second round onwards, and it looks like you've got kind of a chance. But yeah, it does a really good job while not feeling like it would be so easy when you are in a game fighting against like an unstoppable force. It would be so easy for it to be just feel cheap. And for it to just be constantly, well, you're done in this, this area, everyone's killed in this area, move on to the next area. But in the way that you can kind of, okay, we'll prevent that arrest. And we managed to put a barricade out, so we've got one little chance before, not everyone is going to get killed in there because the barricade prevented them first. It's having two of the, I can only speak for the cooperative game as well. I didn't play the conflict game, and I haven't really got any interest in playing games like that where it's one versus many and stuff. But the way that you can kind of see 3 of the 5 things that the Soviet dummy player is going to do in the round, and it gives you some idea. You don't know when those things are going to happen either, and the 2 cards that are hidden might completely change that. You might think, okay, well, the 33rd are going to get activated, but we've disabled them all. Well, there's a hidden 33rd that might just get 1 or 2 of them back on their feet, and then when that next card comes out, they're going to get to do all of their stuff anyway that you weren't prepared for. It feels like you haven't got all of the information of what the Soviet player is going to do and in what order it's going to happen in. That's handled by a dice, but it doesn't feel cheap. When the Soviets get to counterattack and you are rolling the dice to see what happened to your unit, you can see the readiness level in the first place. You can see what kind of chance you've got against that. And yeah, it doesn't feel like this big random thing, or it doesn't feel like this is you're just being taught a lesson by this enemy dummy player for no reason. I feel like you have just enough information to be able to try and do something about it, and that obviously won't always work out, but it feels like you can really do something about it, while at the same time feeling like this just unstoppable inevitability, as you are desperately, trying to cling on and trying to do what you can and rescue what civilians you can. And in our game anyway, we were ended up, abandoning loads of the districts to try and converge and get a couple of people in, or go to the person with, I haven't got an ambush in here and I'm fighting against 3 of the regiments on my own. I'm going to retreat to this where there is someone with an ambush, so when they come in, we're at least going to get to do something against them. But then all they got to do on their turn was just run in. They didn't actually get to attack, so somebody elsewhere on the map is now going to run away back to the box. It just does a really nice job of that. I'm not going to pretend that it's the type of game that I love and that's this is all I will be playing from now on. It's not really the type of game that I will be drawn towards anyway. It's definitely the story really brought me to it, and I'm interested in games that David Turchley designs anyway. But yeah, it really did interest me, and yeah, it engaged me all the way through. As I've said all that stuff about the enemy, so I'm not going to repeat it now. I maybe should have said that before I started explaining it. But anyway, I think it's a really, really interesting game, and it's definitely worth checking out. It's definitely worth watching the playthrough. Not necessarily mine, watch a playthrough and see if it would be a game for you. And the Kickstarter link is in the description, so you can go and check out the campaign, which is running right now. That's why I've only played it once, and that's why the video is not complete, because it needs to be up there quick so you can make an informed decision. Anyway, I'll let you make it. Bye, everyone.